I'm going to go through the third problem set from chapter 3, and you can skip ahead to the problems that you need. So on 3-70, this is practicing this basic skill from this week. We had part A was 2x plus 5 times x plus 6, and I would do this using a generic rectangle. This is just going to be a 2 by 2 because it's two binomials multiplying together, so 2x plus 5 and x plus 6. That gives me 2x squared, 5x, 12x, and 30. And then I'm going to combine like terms, so 2x squared, 12x plus 5x is going to give me 17x plus 30. All right, B, we have m minus 3, 3m plus 5. Same idea. So m, and then we write that as a negative 3, 3m, and a 5. 3m times m is 3m squared. That's going to be a negative 9m, a 5m, and a negative 15. So that would be 3m squared. Negative 9 plus 5 gives me negative 4m minus 15. C, we have 12x plus 1 times x squared minus 5. Don't let that x squared scare you. It operates just the same, even though our algebra tile model no longer makes much sense. We can still use a generic rectangle for it. So 12x and 1, x squared minus 5. So 12x times x squared would be 12x cubed. X squared times 1 is just x squared. 12x times negative 5 would be negative 60x, and negative 5 times 1 would be negative 5. These ones I'm not going to be able to combine like terms because they're all different types, right? So I have 12x cubed plus x squared minus 60x minus 5. Notice I kind of wrote them in order from the highest power to the lowest power. You don't have to do it that way, but it is conventional to do that. And then D, I'm just going to squeeze it on the same spot here. We had 3 minus 5y times 2 plus y. So 3 and then negative 5y, 2 and y. That'll give me a 6, a negative 10y, 3y, and a negative 5y squared. So that gives me negative 5y squared, and then minus 7y plus 6. And for any of these, if you wrote the terms in a different order, that's totally fine, right? Like the answer key, I think, had this one in a different order. No big deal. All right, so Harry and Henrique. So Harry, there's 20 lily pads, and he's eating 4 an hour. Henrique, there's 29 lily pads, and he's eating 7 per hour. And then for both of those, so if x is hours, then y would be number of lily pads left over. Okay. Now you don't know how to solve this yet using the equations, or at least I don't think you do. So I would expect that most of you would have done this using a table. So I would have had, I probably would have set it up so that I had x, and then Harry's y, and Enrique's y. So when x is 0, after 0 minutes, then Harry has 20 and Henrique has 29. Or hours, sorry. This is hours. After 1 hour, we've got 4 less for Harry. That gives him 16. We've got 7 less here. That gives me 22. After 2 hours, we now have 12, and minus 7 gives me 15. After 3 hours, we have 8, and minus 7 gives me 8. Ding, 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 ding. We found it. So they will have the same after 8 hours. Just kidding, that was not true. They will have the same after 3 hours, and they will both have 8 lily pads left. All right, on 75, we are simplifying exponential expressions, just like the last couple weeks. So 5x cubed times negative 3x to the negative 2. So we're going to multiply like parts. So 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. X to the third times x to the negative 2. 3 minus 2, or 3 plus negative 2, gives me just a 1. So it should just be negative 15x. On B, we have 4p squared q to the third. So I'm going to cube everything on the inside. So 4 cubed, 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64, p to the 6th, q to the 3rd. Yes. And then D, we have 3m to the 7th over m to the negative 1. And the 3 doesn't have anything to cancel with, but 7 minus a negative 1 would be to the 8th. So 3m to the 8 is our final answer. All right, on the next one. Got some more generic rectangles. I really want you guys practicing this. Although the first two actually don't even necessarily need it, depending on how you feel. So for A, we had negative 4y times 5x plus 8y. And I'm going to do what our book is calling the distributive property. I'm just going to multiply negative 4y times 5x and negative 4y times 8y. So that gives me negative 20xy minus 32y squared. For B, we have 9x times negative 4 plus 10y. Once again, I'm going to multiply. So negative 4 times 9, that's going to give me 36x, negative 36x. And then I'm going to add 10 times 9 is 90xy. And then on C, I do have to do a generic rectangle, so I'm going to flip and do that on a new piece of paper. Oops. So we have, this is 81C, x squared minus 2 times x squared plus 3x plus 5. So this one is going to be a 2 times 3. So x squared minus 2, x squared, 3x, 5. So x squared times x squared, that is x to the 4th. Negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. X squared times 3x would be 3x cubed, because x times x squared is x cubed. And 5 times x squared, 5x squared. 3x times negative 2 is negative 6x, and 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Combine them all, and we're going to get x to the fourth. I'm going to put them in order just because. Plus 3x cubed. That leaves me, and then I have a 5x squared minus 2x squared, so that would be 3x squared minus 6x minus 10. Once again, order doesn't really matter. I kind of like having them in order this way though. Alright, and then 83. So 83, I've given you the generic rectangle, and I want you to try and think backwards to figure out what must have been around the outsides. So we've got x squared, negative 5x, 3x, and negative 15. So in order for this to be an x squared, the dimensions must be an x and an x, right? Well, if this is an x and this is a 5x, then this must be a negative 5. And if this is an x and this is a 3x, then this must be a 3. And then, is it true that negative 5 times 3 gives me negative 15? Yes, it worked. So I have x plus 3 times x minus 5 equals x squared. And then negative 5 plus 3 is minus 2x minus 15. All right, and finally, 3-86, we have two rules. We have f of x equals 7 plus the absolute value of x, and we have g of x equals x cubed minus 5. First, we have what is f of negative 5. So that's 7 plus the absolute value of negative 5. 7 plus 5 would give us 12. So f of negative 5 equals 12. On v, we have g of 4, which is going to be 4 cubed minus 5. We just sort of did that, didn't we? G of 4, 4 cubed is 64 minus 5. So that would be 59. On C, I'm going to need a new page, I think. We have f of 0. So 7 plus the absolute value of 0 is just 7. For D, we're looking for f of 2, which would be 7 plus the absolute value of 2. So f of 2 equals 9. For C, we have g of negative 2. So negative 2 cubed, and I'm going to put that negative 2 in parentheses so that I remember to do negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Oop, there we go. Minus 5. So g of negative 2 equals a negative times a negative times a negative flips all the way back to a negative, right? So that'll be negative 8 minus 5, which gives me negative 13. And for D, I have g of 0, which is 0 cubed minus 5. 0 times 0 times 0 is still just 0. So g of 0 equals negative 5.